Good morning. We are inside, beautiful being, and we're inside because it's windy out, and it's not much good if all you can hear is so we're inside. And of course the nice thing about being inside is we get to do rocks. We love rocks. So here is a rock. Okay, we got big rocks today, and isn't this one lovely? It frames me like a lace collar. So this is milky quartz. And it's this beautiful piece that just fits in your hand. It's, it's like you can cuddle it almost. I mean, it's a rock, right? It's actually rather pokey. Hi, Kaya. But it's beautiful, and it is milky quartz. And I'm going to try and show you. It's not actually Drew. There we go. We've had a bump in the internet. Good morning, Heidi. It's gorgeous to see you too. So we just have these little sparkles on the side. They remind me of skyscrapers, these crystals. Heather, good morning. And so we're just having sparkly times, This actually reminds me, I have a friend who lives in Geneva, and she sent me a short little video at 9 o'clock every night, because they're all confined to their apartments. And 9 o'clock at night, they stand on the balcony and they clap and they cheer and they celebrate the health workers, and it's a great morale booster. It probably wakes a few people up, but I think it lifts everybody's emotions. And we've been talking about elevating emotions. We did that yesterday, right? Because, you have to do something because it elevates your immunity. There is a real reason to do this. But we're not faking it until we make it, because that doesn't work. When you fake it, all you're doing is trying to convince yourself that you think that you are something, and your body is saying, "Oh, piss off. I'm still angry, or I'm still scared, or I'm still whatever, I'm still in lack." We have to get whatever it is we're being to be visceral. Okay, before I get into my topic too much, we got a big rock today. Today we got big rocks. Angie, good morning. Today it seems to be a day for something solid. This is a 7-kilo quartz point, okay? Just so you know, it's heavy. But it's beautiful. Again, we're just doing sparkles. We just got these 2 big rocks today. So there's something about solidity, and, we all need to just be still, be solid, and manage ourselves. Because if we all manage ourselves, then together we're creating a change. Morning, Linda. I can see your little face up there. Facebook hasn't told me you're here yet, but I'm sure it will. So yeah, this is time for us to sparkle and shine and just be our very best selves. Look at that, it's beautiful. I'm going to have to put it down now, my arm's getting tight. I might pick it up again. I'm going to stick it on my lap. It's like a baby, a 7-kilogram baby. It's heavy. So we've been doing things. I really feel that now is a time. It's not enough to know. It's a time to know how. I'm quoting Joe Dispenza here. Yes, he's my hero. It's a great idea to know that it's possible to change your emotional state when everything around you appears to be going to hell in a handbasket. But how do you do it, right? How? Now is a time to know how, more than ever. And I'm so grateful, because for myself, I know how, and I get to share the how with you, because it's practical, it's science-based, and most of all, it frickin' works. Okay, I'm really excited about things that work. When I used to say, when all the shit's coming down and the custard's on the walls, it works then. That's what I'm interested in. So, today, after talking about this is how we elevate emotions, and yesterday we did a gratitude storm, and it was lovely. I got to see all your comments, and, a lot of you were celebrating the people you love. See how easily gratitude leads to love. And then love leads to caring, and caring leads to compassion. These things are all linked together in our brains. So it doesn't take long if you start making a conscious choice to focus on just gratitude is a great starting place. That things build. You just have to choose. And it doesn't feel familiar when there's all the shit going on around you, and you have to make a really conscious choice about how much of that you put your attention on. Because remember, last week I said, now, what about your left big toe? I didn't actually say big, I just said your left toe. Jasmine, good morning, honey. And suddenly you had a toe and you hadn't noticed it before. And then the next day I said, well, what about your right butt cheek? Oh, I got one of those too. What you put your attention on gets real. So if you put your attention on all the scary stuff and the myths and the what ifs and the conspiracy theories and everything else that's in the media, the broader media, you're going to make that big and real for yourself. So that's a summary of yesterday. Focus on what you want, beautiful, because what you focus on grows. And it doesn't just grow for you, it grows for the people around you. And be that good or bad, realize that's your power. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. I so appreciate you sharing me live. It's just a blessing. Susan, good morning. It's lovely to see you too. I'm so glad we're all together. So today I made myself a little list because if I don't want to miss anything. So I want to get practical today, talking about how to take something you don't like in your life right now, that thing that just flew into your head, whatever it is, and turning it into something you do like, right? Because this is what we're all facing. And you might be thinking, oh, look, this thing that just flew into my head, and you said, what's the thing you don't like? Hi, Elaine. Oh, well done. Well done, number one. Thank you, Linda. That thing might seem really enormous to you, and it might be something that you struggled with for 20, 30, 40 years. And you look at it and it is like being at the bottom of a mountain, looking up the top. And you don't have ropes, you don't have crampons, you don't have ice picks, you don't have any climbing tools, right? So the point is not to think that it's impossible. Allow the possibility that you can create change, even though you don't think you've got any tools. We're doing tools this week. I don't know how long we'll be doing tools for, but this is the download that I get. Like, what are we doing today? Give them tools. Help them use them. Because we often know how, but we struggle in the application. And this is the thing that I excel at, is taking theory and initiating it into practice so that you can become a master. And by the way, that means I've had to do it. I've had to take theory and initiate it into practice so I can become a master. I've had to think about it with my head. Now I'm quoting Joe Dispenza. I've had to do it with my hands until I know it. I've mastered it in my heart. So this is what we're about right now. And the thing about the crisis at the global scale is it jolts us all out of our familiar past and our predictable future. We are right here. We don't know what's coming, and what was before is more or less gone, one way or another. And suddenly it's like, oh, who am I? Oh, because our identity is all locked up in the past and the future that we think we know. And now, kaboom. So, as disruptive and whatever else, as it is, and it is, it's a fantastic opportunity to create, and that's what I want to do today. So, that thing that flew into your head when I said something that you don't like in your life and you want to change it to something that you do like, right? That is not about faking it till you making it. To make that change, you've actually got to change who you are being. What? What do you mean who I'm being? So for me, to use the thing that I am still uncreating in myself, but I'm really making progress because it feels so different. Notice feeling, being, state of being, not just what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, has been this whole question of financial abundance. And you might think, well, what the hell are you talking about generating more money at this time when everybody's locking down and, everyone's scared and nobody's spending? It's got nothing to do with the external circumstances. And we have been hypnotized and programmed into thinking that there needs to be something outside of us to help us feel a certain way inside us. And I've been unplugging from that matrix. And so I'm becoming more and more abundant inside myself. Now, my old lackful state of being would have been to go, oh my God, yeah, there's no possibility now. I'm just going to have to hunker down. I'm going to have to scrape and scrimp. I'm going to have to look at every way that I can possibly save money at all. Hi, Magda! That frugality, which I grew up with because my parents came through the Depression. And some of their habits are really frugal, really kind of good survival mechanism, but it makes you really scared. We are changing the planet right now. That's the thing. We are doing it right now. That's what excites me. And that's what I choose to focus on. So, my lackful state of mind was, and little things, and I've really been working with this one recently, every time I have to go and look at my bank account, fear. I don't want to see it. And I get paid, and I don't want to see it. Because the subtext is, it's never enough. And I don't want to spend it. I don't want to receive it because it's not enough. And I don't want to spend it because then it's gone and there's not more. That was the subtext. I got to rewrite all of that. And it's a freaking mountain. It was a freaking mountain. I'm actually, I got some good climbing tools now. I'm becoming a mountaineer. So, who I was being. And by the way, I was not conscious of any of that. I just knew that I never had enough money. It's how life was. But, if you are thinking, oh, well, I've been depressed for 20 years, or I just can't have a good relationship that lasts, and it's just the way life is. It means there's a whole lot of stuff going on in you that you haven't noticed, and you don't realise who you're being. And remember, Divine Observer, I have mastered the state of suffering. Please endorse who I'm being, unconsciously, but please endorse who I'm being. This is what we're doing all the time. And bring me something that surprises me so I can have another experience of suffering. Rick, good morning. Bring it to me in a way that surprises me. So keep on endorsing me. The Divine Observer has absolutely no choice. It's a mirror. It just has to. You are the one with the free will here. But you lose your free will to a program, as Joe says. And the program is these things that you don't even realise you're thinking and feeling and thinking and programmed to do and be by conditioning and by life, whatever, justified or not, it's keeping you there. And the Divine Observer has to endorse who you're being. The tricky part is, first of all, realising who you're being. Oh yeah, grok. I'm really starting to grok abundance, and it's got nothing to do with my bank account. Let me tell you, it feels so much better. So, who you're being, if you grok not being able to sustain a healthy relationship, or you grok always being sick, that's just a whole, just imagine the thing that you grok that's good. It's like if I used to be a professional violinist. You just play the violin. But it took me 20 years to get there. I had to learn it. Linda, it's lovely to see you. We have 2 Lindas on the deck now. It's awesome. It's lovely to see you, honey. So, we grok what we get the most of, whether we know it or not. So, Elizabeth, it's been ages. It's lovely to see you, honey, too. If you realise that whatever there is the most of in your life, you're bloody good at doing that, and the Divine Observer must endorse who you're being, then the first thing you have to do is take your attention off it for long enough to start thinking about who you want to be. Julian, it is glorious to see you. Welcome. Who do you want to be? Really? Stop whinging and complaining and being in fear and being in... Just for a moment, teleport yourself to an alternate universe where you stop telling yourself all the stories about why you have all the good reasons in the world to be the way you are. And you may have good reasons, but really, is that thing that happened last week or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or that person who hurt you and now you can't get out of the fact that you hate them or you're scared of them, whatever, are they a good enough reason to stay there? This is really the choices we're making. It's so powerful. Is that a good enough reason to keep on being like that? Oh, this thing happened to me and so I am. Well, okay, but realise you're making a choice. Who do you want to be? Get really real with yourself. Okay, I actually want to feel joy. Blah, 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 that's impossible. Yeah, I know, but I actually want to feel joy. I actually want to feel that I can open my heart and love myself. Maybe let's just do that. Okay. Notice how much resistance you feel to whatever it is that, because you know who you want to be, really, if you are determined enough to stop telling yourself the stories for long enough to think, okay, if this is all the story that I have continued to tell myself and invest my energy into and make real, oh, I'm the victim, it happened to me and this is the reason why I'm still like this. Yeah, it did. But really, and I know it takes tremendous will to look yourself in the face and realize, I have kept on doing this to myself. And it can be very, very difficult to do. So please don't think I'm beating up on you. You know, if you have a mental health condition, if you have a long-term serious chronic health condition, if you just can't get out of the poverty thing, which, you know, despite really being quite well off, I just always felt, you know, suffering. Yes, totally right, Linda. You see, you wrote about it and you thought, hang on a minute, I got to pay attention to something else. And by the way, it's part of the process. That's all I'm going to say. I have a feeling there will be a conversation about death and suffering at some stage, but not today. Who do you want to be? Do you want to focus on life and your future that you want to create, which is going to feel wrong and unfamiliar if you are so used to having all the reasons why you feel the way you are? Oh, now I'm stuck inside, I'm going to be miserable. And, you know, some people will have that experience because that's what they use as another reason to continue being who they've been. It's another reason to continue to endorse myself as someone who suffers. I feel like I'm speaking really straight today, but I'm kind of speaking to myself. Whenever I give up my vision of my future, of myself abundant and enabled to really make massive impact in the world, and I know I'm making an impact now, but imagine that 100,000 times. You know, this is what's in me to do. I can stay in that space. I can stay in that state of being and speak from that and be that and look at my bank account and everything and be in that space and know that it's here and live it now. Or I can go back to that which is familiar to me, and I want to talk about how unfamiliar this is. Because we were in the Heartfield yesterday, and you know, everything's so synchronous. And I can tell the story without revealing anything. One of our amazing, so powerful creators in there was really in a place of change. And what was interesting was that a few days before, this person had made a big decision about, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it was something that, you know, they've been doing for a while. There's no. And there's always a deep choice, and it defines you because it's a line in the sand. You're not going back. I'm not going to be that person anymore. And this person knew that they wanted to move into something else that was in front of them. Charlotte, hello, honey. And there was this resistance. And really, when we played with it and explored it, it was completely a resistance of the unknown. Kathleen, good morning, gorgeous. Yay! It was a resistance to the unknown. And so what we did was we created an opportunity in that space, and this is why the Heartfield is so fabulous, for this person to have a direct experience of the very thing that was unknown. And it was like taking the first bite out of the apple if you've never had an apple. And there's this strange, round, green thing. And people are saying to you, bite into this. It's really good. But you've never done it before. And I was like, I don't know. And remember, talked about this yesterday, if you're a caveman, the physiology, the brain, the way it's programmed is from there. If you're a caveman, if you're a tribes person, you know, Stone Age, Bronze Age, whatever, and the cave is safe. Anything outside the cave that you're not used to seeing could be dangerous. We are programmed to resist the unknown, to fear the unknown, in fact. So we created this situation where there was an experience of the unknown, and it was good. It's like, oh, okay, I'm off now. I'm over the river of change. I'm into this. Cool. Because there was a new experience, and it was presented in a safe way. And that was it, you know. I know that the gate's open now. The horse is out. It can run free. And so we actually have to, you know, when you start imagining who you want to be, you've got to realise that part of the reason why even that can be incredibly hard is because you are staring into the face of the unknown. You don't know who you are when you're not anxious, when you're not fearful, when you're not traumatized, when you're not limited, when you're not sick, when you're not conflicted, when you're not feeling like a victim or feeling, you know, whatever. You don't even know who that person is because you're so used to being who you've been. So to come, before we run out of time entirely, to come back to that thing that you, right at the beginning, we said, what's that thing in your life you want to change? Now, please don't think about this, feel this. Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? How do you want it to be different? Boom. How would it be in 10 years' time if you were that person? See, we've given ourselves lots of time to do it, so we don't have to think about how. Okay, I feel that. You get it. Now, just capture that sense of that person. Breathe it in and out a little bit. Some of this is a bit of a surprise for you. I can feel it. It's like something landed, right? You let yourself open to possibility. Just take that as the first bite. You actually start to connect with a different future, and you notice most of it's a feeling. You don't know how it looks. You don't know how it sounds. You don't know how it tastes or smells or what it feels like. But you know the visceral feeling of how you want to feel. That's the first bite of the apple. And the subsequent bites really are about connecting with that feeling. First of all, connect with that feeling. I do it every day. I face myself every day, and I do this every day. Who do I want to be? How does it feel? Because more and more, when you take your attention off the things and the circumstances and the people and all that stuff in your life, it comes down to how you want to feel. And when you practice the state of being, the actions and the words and it kind of comes out of knowing who that is. Yeah, so maybe, Linda, the thing to let go of is to realise, it was a thing to embrace actually, is to realise that their fears are not your problem. It's like, you care about these people, I'm guessing, but you're not responsible. You are responsible to keep yourself in the most elevated, connected, coherent state you can, and to act in an elevated, coherent, caring, loving state, which I know you do, but to make it more so. And it's this very strange balance between surrendering the things you cannot control and being very, very conscious and proactive and choosing about who you are. So the divine observer can endorse that. And the spillover effect is very, very powerful. Very powerful. So allow yourself to have a direct, visceral experience of who you want to be. And the more you practice that, the more you think, well, that person 10 years from now that kind of landed in my head, landed in me, oh my God, really that's who I want to be? Capture that. Practice it. And from that space, you'll know what to do. And you'll know what not to do. And you're right, Linda. Looking yourself in the eye, moment to moment, who am I choosing to be? Who am I saying, divine observer, see this and endorse it? Because that's what happens. And it's so powerful. We're out of time, beautiful being. Thank you so much for joining with me in the rocks. Big love. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.